Okay, so I'm going to talk to you about the say impersonal, and then we're going to do some practice with it. The impersonal constructions with say are commonly used on signs and instructions and rules in order to attribute actions to no one in particular. So that's the main thing, actions to no one in particular. Actually, let me go back and make that thicker. Actions to no one in particular. Okay, use say on the third person singular of the verb in statements attributed to no one in particular. These are generally followed by an infinitive, a clause introduced by K, or an adverb. So so often if we're trying to conjugate and we see a verb, fumar, or que, or an adverb like bien, then we're going to put our verb into third person. So what we're trying to say here is se prohíbe fumar en el almacén. We're not saying that, Miguel can't smoke in the department store. We're saying it's prohibited. So if we're making these in general statements, there's no one in particular that we're saying can't smoke. We're just saying it's prohibited to smoke. That's when you're going to put a say in front of your verb and you're going to conjugate it into the third person. And that's how you're going to get the impersonal say construction. Okay, so let's do some practice with that. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do some practice here. We're going to complete the statements with the say impersonal, conjugating the verb in the present tense. So I've gone ahead and put back our endings. Over here, you can see these are your AR endings, O, ASA, AMOS, AIS, AN, etc. Here's your ER and here's your IR, just to remind you how we're supposed to be conjugating our verbs. So this says, blank decir que comer vegetales y frutas es muy bueno para la salud. So we're saying, if we're saying something like, it's said that eating vegetables and fruits is good for your health. Like we're just trying to make that general statement, not saying I say that it's important or Maria says that it's important, but just in general, it's said. And it's basically like passive voice because when we say it's said, then what's being, we're just saying like in general, somebody, we don't know who specifically says it, just somebody says that it's good to eat vegetables and fruits for your health. So when it's that case, and there's not a specific person who's our subject, then I'm going to take and put say, okay? I'm going to write say at the beginning, and then the verb that I have is decir, and I'm going to want to conjugate decir into the present tense. Well, decir is an E to IE stem changer, which means this E, okay, so I'm going to take the IR off, okay, and you'd come down here, and these are the IR endings. You're supposed to be using third person, so we're supposed to use third person singular, él, ella, the él, ella form. So first off, it's a stem changing verb, so we're going to change that E to an I, and then our third person spelling for our IR verb, like vivir, is going to be an E. So you'd say, se dice que comer vegetales y frutas es muy bueno para la salud. And I'm also going to go through and highlight these. Let's put a little box. And let's do... Okay, so what we're going to want to be looking at in each of our verbs is here. And here. Okay, so in these situations, whenever you're using the say impersonal to attribute actions that are to no one in particular, you're always going to use the singular third person spelling of your verb. So you're gonna look here for these situations, for statements that might go on a sign or on a where is it? On a sign or on instructions. You're always going to be using third person singular. So you're always going to be conjugating a verb for él, ella. So no poder fumar aquí. So again, It's saying that smoking is not allowed here, so that would be like on a sign, no smoking allowed. So we're gonna put say, whoops, we don't want it to be in red. So we're gonna put say, and then we've got poder. Poder is an O to UE verb, and so since I'm gonna conjugate for this L and Elia form, I am gonna change my O to a UE, and then because it's Elia and that was an ER verb, I'm gonna add an E on the end of my verb. No se puede fumar aquí. Blank anunciar los resultados hoy. And so what you're saying is the results will be announced today. And so again, I'm going to put a se here. I'm going to put anunciar. Anunciar is an AR verb. I'm going to get rid of the AR. I'm going to look over here, and for third person, that would be an A. Anuncia. Se anuncia los resultados hoy. No hablar bien en Brasil. Or no hablar español en Brasil. I don't know why I said no hablar bien. So Spanish is not spoken in Brazil. So I would say se hablar. I'm going to use third person. So I go over here for ella and I write habla. No se habla español en Brasil. Juanito no hacer eso aquí. Okay. Juanito no blank hace eso aquí. I don't know why they went ahead and conjugated, but what they're trying to say is Juanito, one doesn't do that here, so it should be no se hace eso aquí. You don't do that here. No deber manejar después de tomar alcohol. So again, that's just like an advertisement or advice, like one shouldn't drive after drinking alcohol. So again, I'm going to put se deber. And it's third person, so I get rid of the ER and I have debe, no se debe here. Blank, tener que leer mucho en la clase de literatura. So what we're saying is, one has to read a lot in literature class. So I would do again, se tener. It's irregular in the yo form, but otherwise it's an E to IE, so I'm going to change that E to an IE. And then the ending for third person ER verb would be an E. So se tiene. En el Perú, regatear mucho en los mercados. So in Peru, one barters a lot in the markets. So that would be again, oops, I'm going to put a se and then regatear. And I am going to, if it's an AR verb and it's third person, I'm going to put an A. Regatea, whoops. Looks kind of bad. Here, let me redo it. Se regatea. Okay, en mi casa, comer bien los domingos. At my house, one eats well on Sundays. So I would again say comer, and I would put just an E. Se come en mi casa, se come bien los domingos. No blank permite. Perdón, no permitir sacar más de 2 libros en la biblioteca. So se, and it's permitir. It's an IR verb, and for third person that would be an E, permite. And so that's how you form the se impersonal. Okay, but there's another piece to it. So let's look at the other piece. Okay, so now you also can use the pronoun se and the third person singular or plural form of the verb as a substitute for the passive voice in Spanish. So this is for passive voice in Spanish, to say what is done. Notice that the subject of the verb is the objects that are referred to. So, se ofrecen descuentos en la internet, meaning that discounts are offered on the internet. Se encontró el anillo en el probador. The ring was found in the dressing room. Se vendían artículos de segunda mano en esta tienda. So secondhand articles used to be sold in this store. Okay, so what you're going to be using is se and the third person singular or plural form, because your verb is going to match the object which has become the subject of this sentence. So the reason you're going to make your verb match the thing that's being offered it's going to match the thing that's being found, or it's going to match the thing that's being sold here. Okay, so let's do practice. So this time what we'll be looking at are, we're going to be looking here, here, and here. Oh, come on down. And here. Okay, so those are, you know what, let's actually, okay, I thought a different color would stand out a little bit better. Okay, so blank decir que comer vegetales y frutas es muy bueno para la salud. So one says that eating vegetables and fruits is very good for your health. Okay, so here what's going on is that it says one says that eating vegetables and fruits is very good for your health. So we are going to put this in the singular because what actually is the object is what you're conjugating for is eating vegetables and fruits. And so it's the idea of eating, and that's singular. So we're going to keep this singular. So what we would do here is write se dice que comer vegetales y frutas es muy bueno para la salud. No poder fumar aquí. Okay, you'll have to excuse me. When I started talking, I just realized that we were doing the same activity that we had done before. It wasn't the activity that I wanted us to be looking at. So I've since gone in and stuck that one out there. So here we have, en México, comer mucha comida picante. So what we're saying is, in Mexico, a lot of spicy food is eaten. So what's being done is, or what's being eaten is a lot of spicy food. So what you're going to put here is in Mexico, because you're going to make your verb agree with the object, what's being eaten, which is this, well, a lot and picante describe it, but it's basically the food. And since food is singular, then you're going to keep this singular, and what you would write is in Mexico se come. And the reason why you're going to put se is because you don't have a specific subject. You don't have like Maria or Javier, etc. You just have, in Mexico, people eat a lot of spicy food. So en mi universidad, blanco ofrecer muchas clases interesantes. So what's being offered are the classes, right? So this time you're going to make it plural. You're going to agree with classes. So you're going to say ofrecen. Okay, en este restaurante no aceptar tarjetas de crédito. What they don't accept are the tarjetas. So you're going to make it plural again. No se aceptan. Sorry about that. I should not have the email up. Creo que blank dar un descuento en esa tienda los viernes. So I believe that they give a discount. Or a discount is given is what you're trying to say, and what's being given is a discount, so it's actually going to be singular. So creo que se da un descuento en esa tienda los viernes. No blank encontrar muchas gangas en esa tienda ayer. So this, you know, they're practicing more because they also have ayer here. So I shouldn't even have this because now we're going to do past. So, one, no encontrar, you can't find a lot of sales in this, one didn't find a lot of sales in this store. So what wasn't found were gangas. So you would put, no se encontraron.